Good morning, everybody. Last year, when the pandemic was raging, and in the beginning of, even before the lockdown, it stands on record and you can check it out. I'm one of the first who offered online masses. I believe in the Mass and the power of the Mass that is being celebrated here and now, the fullness of it, where you can take part in the unbloody sacrifice and have the chance to receive communion. That is the fullness of the Eucharistic celebration. But all those of you who are at home, and I have said this since day one, you are doing your best, and that is the next best thing that you can do. Take part in the liturgy taking place in situ, right here, right now. And in many other churches all over the world, and in the Philippines at about this time, from Apari to Hulo, masses are being celebrated since 5 a.m. today. Today, I'd like to talk about two words that begin with R. One is rejection, and the other is responsibility. The word rejection is what the first reading alludes to. The stone rejected by the builders has become the cornerstone. And you know very well that what is referred to by that stone rejected by the builders was the one who was put to death, the one who was rejected, the one whom they didn't want, who brought the light, but people, according to John, preferred to live in the dark. And that stone rejected by the builders became the cornerstone of what we call kuhal, ecclesia, iglesia. Bago ginamit ng kulto itong salitang iglesia, ito'y nasa ebanghelyo na, nasa lumang tipan pa. Kuhal, ecclesia, yan po ay galing sa salitang ekaleo, to call together, to gather. And this is what church is. So when we gather Sunday in and Sunday out and every day, the best and the highest action that we lesser mortals can do is to gather in worship, to worship the one true God in spirit and in truth. And therefore the ekalein is a very Catholic Christian word and biblical word, and no cult that was founded in the first few years of the 20th century can lay claim to the title that belongs ultimately to God, who called us from darkness into His own wonderful light. Ekaleo is the exact opposite of ekbalo in Greek. This is the word used by John when he talked about people who who preferred darkness to the light. They rejected the one who brought the light. And ekbalo is the word for rejection. It has to do with something violent. Ekbalo is not just, no, I don't like it. Not just like that. I don't like it, I am gonna throw what you're giving to me back at you. There is violence. And rejection is violent. The stone rejected by the builders has become the cornerstone. Such is the power of God. History is on the side of God, not on the side of anybody who claims he will destroy the church before his term ends. History and the victory is not on the side of a Caesar or of an Alexander or of a Hitler. Hitler ruled gloriously and ignominiously for 12 years. And in those 12 years, he managed to kill 6 million, not only Jews, but also Catholics, because he hated Catholics too. He was a failed artist, and he was not accepted in the only school or college of arts in Austria. And that is why he hated those who were successful and killed 6 million of them. I'm talking about rejection because we do that to each other. Ever since I can remember, and I'm not a spring chicken anymore. Ever since I can remember, our elections have always been dirty. And the politics that is a human activity has always been ridden with violence. And up until now, there may not be physical violence as much as there was in the 60s or 70s. But there is violence in social media between the Dilawans and the DDS and all those who stick it out with their pinapanginoon at nagmumurahan, nagsisiraan hanggang ngayon. Tama-tama sinasabi ni Pope Francis, we need a new type of politics. Now the whole world is confused about being populist and popular. And populist means, akin kayo kung iboto niyo ko. So yung mga kampon ko, yung mga bumoto sa akin, yung aking people, yung aking constituents. This is populist. But is it popular? I doubt. Popular is confused for megatrends. And megatrends means the one who wins is the one who has trolls and bots and paid hacks, who can make a trend in social media and pretend that one is popular. He is not popular. He is a product of megatrends, electronic trending. We need a new type of politics. And I am not railing against those in power right now. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to myself. Because those who allow dirty politics to happen, ever since Quezon said, better a country run like hell by Filipinos than a country like heaven by foreigners. Well, he got what he wanted. And it is us, not those in power right now. Tayo ang nauto ng social media. Tayo ang naniwala sa fake news. Tayo ang nagbibigay power sa mga social media influencers. And we have our own lords. Let me tell you some stories about rejection. There was a little girl in the 50s by the name of Mary who went to school. And from day one, Mary was rejected because she was ugly. She had a cleft palate. Bingot. Tinutukso siya sapagkat siya bingot, tabingi ang ilong, ngongo, at lahat ng pangit na nire-reject ng taong magaganda, naguglutatayon, at mapuputi at matatangos ang ilong. But then there came, after about 2 or 3 years that she was in school and felt rejected every day, there came a wonderful teacher by the name of Mrs. Leonard. And Mrs. Leonard told one day, we will have a hearing test next week. So all of you will have to go to the door, and then I will whisper something, and you will have to respond. And so came the turn of Mary, and Mrs. Leonard whispered to her something that she never forgot. Mary, I wish you were my little girl. And from then on, Mary knew and was convinced of her worth. Mrs. Leonard was the epitome of what it means never to reject others because of what you see in them. My classmates in Makati Poblacion are tuning in to me right now. I will tell this story. Probinsyano ako, galing kami sa Mendez. Ang salita namin ay parehang parang Batanggenyo, matigas at may punto. So pagdating namin, I was maybe 6 years old, 5 or 6 years old. When we migrated to Makati, Poblacion, we were talking funny. So one of our neighbors asked me, Toy, taga saan ba kayo? And I said, taga Cavite ho. Okay na sana yun eh. Naikwento ko na sa inyo ito, I know. But for the sake of my classmates tuning in Makati, I'll say it. Okay na sana yun. Ang problema, may karugtong pa. At ay, Cavite. Ay, maraming tulisan doon. I have never seen a tulisan in my life, ever. Never. I don't even know what it was. And yet, rejection is very much in our culture. Ay, Bisaya. Meron pa akong narinig na Tagalog na nagsabi, kayong mga anak, huwag kayong mag-aasawa ng mga Bisaya. Bakit? Sa Cebu naman, no, I went to Cebu every month up until a few years ago. So, 20 or 25 years ago, I never heard Visayans talk against the Cebuanos, except the Ilonggos. That I know for sure. But then, one of the few last times I went to Bohol, I was surprised to hear something like this. The Imperial Cebu. Oh, I thought it was only Imperial Manila. Now, because Cebu is the Queen City of the South, then from the point of view of the Eastern and the Western and the other Visayans, then Imperial Cebu. This is rejection. This is racism. At tayo sanay na sanay sa mga rasismo, yung pango, o si Pedrong Pandak. We have all sorts of bad terms for each other. Yung pango, we laugh. Kaya ang Indonesia at ang Pilipinas, ang number 1 ay 2 buyers of glutathione and skin whitening products. We don't want to be dark. We all want to be white. Maputi ang mukha pero dito may banel. Nakalimutan lagyan. Pahira ng pampaputi. We need to talk about rejection. Why? Because the Lord tells us today that the stone rejected by the leaders became the cornerstone. God is just. God is fair. And God is merciful and compassionate like we never understand. And today, this compassion and mercy of God becomes real in the person of Jesus, who called himself the Good Shepherd. You know, the founder of the Redemptorists was booted out of his own congregation. At some point, he was rejected by his own confreres. The founder of the Sisters of, these are medical sisters, I forgot their name, Benedetto Meni. He was exiled by his own congregation to France and died an exile in France because some of his confreres invented stories about him, fake stories, fake news. And he was exiled and was told never to get in touch with his own congregation of sisters. And you know his motto? When he died, they found out that his motto is very simple. Rogar, trabajar, sufrir, padecer. Amar a Dios y al prójimo y callar. Pray, work, suffer, endure. Love God and neighbor and shut up. And he was canonized by John Paul II in 2004. The stone rejected by the builders has become the cornerstone. So be careful whom you hate. Be careful whom you reject. Because you might just be rejecting an angel. Somebody sent by God with a special mission. When we were college students, we were the first to be to do what is required by the government to do military training, even the seminary. And so we were the first to have military training. And one day, our commandant told us, we're gonna have a hiking whole day. You will never last. Akala nila siguro kami mga wimps. So, tingnan natin kung hanggang kailan kayo tatagal. Nako, isang oras pa lamang kami naglalakad, ilawit na ang dila ni Commander. At iniwanan na kami. Ay kami nagtatakbuhan sa bundok. Nagtatrabaho kami because we were doing manual work, manualya we called it in the seminary. What is this? Good shepherd? The good shepherd never abandons his sheep. He sees a wolf coming and leaves the sheep and runs away. That is a hireling. But the good shepherd never abandoned his flock. God never abandons us even in our pain and uncertainty right now. And even if Facebook has become a big obituary page, God is with us in our uncertainty. God is with us in our fears because He is the good shepherd. I don't need to say anything more. He said, I am the good shepherd, and I know mine, and mine know me.